The Young and the Restless spoilers reveal that the relationship between Kyle Abbott and Claire Newman is at great risk, as the shadow of intrigue, betrayal, and unforeseen changes is looming. While their love remains bright and promising, the obsession and calculations of other characters are putting their future in jeopardy. Kyle and Summer, a story of betrayal and sudden changes. Kyle and Claire's love is sweet and promising, but in the shadow of their calculating conversations, a threat from the past is lurking. Summer, Kyle's ex-girlfriend, is slowly becoming a serious threat to his present life. The scariest thing Kyle has to face is Summer's change. No longer the innocent girl Kyle once loved, Summer has now turned into a cold, calculating woman, willing to turn every page of the past to achieve her goals. She doesn't hesitate to betray Kyle, seemingly nothing can stop this determination. Her love for Kyle may have been replaced by a great obsession, whose ultimate goal is to make him pay for every decision he has made, especially when he chose Claire over her. Summer's actions and decisions are no longer a simple relationship, but a silent war, as she is willing to destroy Kyle and Claire's relationship to get what she thinks she deserves. She will do anything to destroy this love, even if it means using dirty tricks. This is just the beginning of an elaborate revenge plan that Summer is gradually mapping out. Victor Newman and the strategy of separation. Victor Newman, a powerful and shrewd man, has never easily let go of his failures. This time, he is determined to do everything to destroy the relationship between Kyle and Claire. Recruiting Audra to disrupt this relationship is the first step in Victor's strategy. Audra, with her sharp and ambitious nature, is becoming a powerful tool in Victor's hands. But, whether his plan will succeed or not is another question. Audra is not someone who can be easily manipulated, and in the shadows of her calculations, she may have her own motives that will make things not go according to Victor's will. With Summer involved in this power play, the situation becomes even more complicated. Summer can easily become a pawn in Victor's hands. If she is truly convinced, the combination of her, Audra and Victor will form a powerful army with the sole purpose of disrupting the stability in Kyle's life. Kyle will not be able to escape the ruthless attack of these three opponents, who are ready to do everything to bring him down. Threat to Kyle's life. As things get more intense, Victor goes beyond sabotaging Kyle's relationship and even considers eliminating him from the game altogether. With his plan to imprison Kyle in a secret room, Victor has really gone too far. The threat to Kyle's life is no longer a distant prospect, but a real danger. This will push Kyle into a corner, as he must not only deal with the enemies in the shadows but also find a way to save himself before it's too late. Kyle, who always believed that he could overcome any challenge, is now faced with an unpleasant reality. His existence is threatened, and there is no one to protect him but himself. But can he escape this plot, or will he eventually suffer the terrible consequences that Victor has set for him? Jack's search and uncompromising fight. The situation becomes more serious when Kyle mysteriously disappears. His disappearance is not only a disaster for the Abbott family, but also a great shock for Jabot. With increasing anxiety, Jack Abbott, Kyle's eldest brother, will not be able to stand still. Things will not end like this, and Jack will not hesitate to engage in a battle with Victor to save his brother. But will Jack succeed in finding Kyle? The relationship between the Abbott and Newman families has become more tense than ever, and the battle between them is not only about power but also about the life of a loved one. An uncertain future. All of these threats are putting Kyle in a dangerous situation, and no one can predict the outcome. Will Kyle and Claire's relationship be destroyed by these conspiracies? Or will Kyle be able to overcome it all and regain his freedom? Will Victor, Summer, and Audra's plans succeed, or will they be exposed? The future of Kyle, Claire, and those around them is in serious danger, and the answers to all of these questions are yet to be determined. Every step in this story will only lead to a new development, and fans will definitely be on the edge of their seats waiting to see how this battle will play out. The Young and the Restless spoilers reveal the relationship between Kyle Abbott and Claire Newman, one of Genoa City's favorite couples, is facing an unforeseen devastation. Dark plots, betrayals, and dark calculations threaten to tear it all apart. Each character has their own agenda, but none of them expect that these calculations will push things to an uncontrollable explosive point. Conflict erupts when Kyle disappears. The story begins when Kyle suddenly and mysteriously disappears. No one, including the Abbott family, can explain why Kyle has disappeared without a trace. His absence sends both Jabot and the Abbott family into a panic. What happened to Kyle? Is he in danger? His family's worries increase when Kyle's calls and texts suddenly stop being answered. Jack Abbott, Kyle's older brother, can't sit idly by as his younger brother disappears. A sense of unease wells up in Jack's heart as he realizes that this is no ordinary disappearance. Determined to find out the truth, Jack sets out to find out, but he quickly discovers that this is more than just a simple search. Things are being manipulated by forces he never imagined. Summer. From love to obsession. While the Abbott family is searching for Kyle, another threat is brewing. Kyle's ex-girlfriend, Summer, is no longer just a side character. She has now become a real obsession in Kyle and Claire's lives. Unfulfilled emotions and deep hatreds make Summer unable to let go. Once an innocent girl, Summer has now become a cold, calculating woman. The failures in love, the pain she suffered when Kyle left her for Clare have become the pain that has haunted her for many years. Summer is no longer the person Kyle loved and trusted, but instead a calculating woman, willing to do anything to regain what she thinks she deserves. With the change in her mentality and personality, Summer has now become a real threat to the future of Kyle and Clare. She does not hesitate to take advantage of any situation to ruin their relationship. The scariest thing is that she is not only a traitor in the past, but a threat that is lurking, ready to explode at any time. Victor Newman, the mastermind behind all the schemes. Things become more complicated when Victor Newman, a powerful and equally cruel man, participates in this play. Realizing that Kyle and Claire's relationship is a danger to his plans, Victor decides to recruit Audra, a shrewd and ambitious woman, to disrupt this stability. Audra, with her charming looks and sharp intelligence, quickly becomes an important tool in Victor's hands. However, Audra's ambition also makes Victor cautious. Whether Audra can complete the mission is still a question. But this does not stop Victor from thinking of another option: recruiting Summer. Summer, with all her obsession with Kyle, could be the perfect pawn in Victor's plan. If she joins Victor's team, an army of Victor, Audra, and Summer will relentlessly attack Kyle from all sides. Things will get worse when they corner Kyle, and his life will no longer be his own. Summer, Audra, and Victor. The perfect team to fight Kyle. When Summer agrees to join Victor's plan, things begin to become clear. An army is created with a single goal: to destroy the relationship between Kyle and Clare, and make Kyle pay for his choices. With her coldness and determination, Summer is not just a follower but also a leader in Victor's schemes. Audra, an ambitious person, does not hesitate to carry out Victor's plan. She does not hesitate to take every opportunity to put pressure on Kyle, and when she sees that Victor is successful in forcing Kyle into a weak position, she becomes even more determined. All three, Summer, Audra, and Victor, are working towards a common goal: to destroy Kyle's life. Kyle's life threatened, secret captivity plan. More than just destroying their relationship, Victor decides to take things a step further. Kyle's life is in serious danger as Victor plans to lock Kyle up in a secret room where no one can find him. This is not just a physical threat but also a strategy to make Kyle completely lose control. Kyle has no idea that he is being cornered into a deadly situation. Everything is happening so fast and there is no chance for him to escape. Kyle's older brother, Jack, cannot stand by and watch his brother being threatened. His worries increase as the search becomes hopeless. Unable to accept Kyle's disappearance, Jack begins a relentless war with Victor. Determined to protect his family, Jack engages in a confrontation with Victor, and the battle between them is not only about power but also about the life of a loved one. Can Kyle escape this plot? The battle between Kyle, Victor, Summer, and Audra has just begun. Things will not be as easy as Victor and his allies think. Each character in this story has their own motives and goals, but what will be the final outcome? Can Kyle escape these cruel plots? Can Clare help him overcome them all, or will they be separated forever? The tension in this story is increasing, and new developments will keep the audience excited to follow the characters' every move. The constant plots, betrayals and confrontations will create dramatic climaxes, taking viewers on a journey full of surprises and drama. The Young and the Restless spoilers reveal that, as Kyle and Claire's relationship faces a serious test, the intrigues of the forces around them are making the situation tense and dramatic. Nate Hastings, one of the sharp and determined characters, begins to suspect and doubt the shady deals between Audra and Victor. As other characters begin to notice unusual signs in Audra's actions, an inevitable clash between dark forces and love is gradually forming. Nate Hastings suspicions Audra and Victor. Nate Hastings has always been known for his intelligence and sharpness. For him, nothing is too difficult to realize when things seem to be wrong. And now, he is sensing a major abnormality in the relationship between Audra and Victor. With his sharp nature, Nate begins to doubt the ambiguous deal that Audra has made with Victor. He can't understand how someone as smart as Audra could easily fall into Victor's dangerous games. But with each conversation Audra has, Nate feels more and more that something is not right. Audra, with her actions and words full of hidden meanings, begins to reveal signs that cannot be hidden. She often gloats about the upcoming competition between Kyle and Clare, a competition that she constantly encourages. Audra's words become more and more challenging and calculating, making Nate more and more worried about her true motives. Audra's strange predictions about the breakdown of Kyle and Clare's relationship raise doubts in Nate that cannot be extinguished. Kyle and Clare's relationship is threatened. Even Clare and Kyle, at this time, begin to notice something strange in Audra's behavior. Both are confused by Audra's overconfidence and gloating. Clare and Kyle were curious as to what she was secretly planning by always talking about this competition. What was remarkable was that Audra seemed to be doing it not only for the sake of her career, but also to intentionally increase the tension between the two. As both Kyle and Clare looked at Audra's words and actions, they couldn't help but feel a vague fear of what she might be doing behind their backs. Although Audra tried to keep her plans secret, some of her unwise suggestions unintentionally revealed her plot. In fact, Audra was ruining Victor's plans because of her own talkativeness and overthinking. She didn't realize that every word could become a double-edged sword, possibly revealing the secret she was trying to hide. Kyle and Clare confront Audra and Victor's plot. Although Audra intended to lure Kyle into a compromising position so she could manipulate him, Clare was the first to see the signs of a dark plot. Clare begins to become more aware of what is going on around her, especially after Kyle shares with her the latest information about Victor's spy game within Jabot. Kyle reveals dark secrets about Victor's plans, which makes Clare even more worried. No longer the naive girl she once was, Clare gradually realizes her grandfather's ability to manipulate situations and turn things to his advantage. She feels extremely uneasy when she realizes that she may have been caught up in a plot much larger than she ever imagined. When she discovers the connection between Victor and Audra, she can't help but feel angry. Clare begins to realize that Victor is not only trying to protect the company, but also to destroy her and Kyle's personal life. Clare is caught between suspicion and love. Despite realizing Victor's plot, Clare still faces a great deal of hesitation when facing the truth about Kyle. She begins to feel confused, unsure of whether Kyle is truly innocent. Their relationship is severely tested when Clare cannot completely trust what Kyle says. Fear and doubt continue to haunt her, making her hesitant to come to a clear conclusion right away. As Clare continues to ponder what Kyle has shared, an unexpected situation occurs. Summer, with her own plot, decides to take action. She begins to approach Kyle in every way, taking advantage of Clare's hesitation to put pressure on Kyle. Can Kyle stand the temptation of Summer, whom he knows well but still cannot refuse in this situation? And what will Clare do when she finally realizes that she was too slow to understand the truth about Audra and what she did? The final confrontation and the inevitable consequences. There seems to be no way out of this threat, and everything could end in an inevitable confrontation. As Clare realizes all that has happened and the machinations of Audra and Victor, she must make the biggest choice of her life. Is she strong enough to face the truth and stand by Kyle, or will she be drawn into a war from which she cannot escape? Kyle and Clare's relationship cannot survive without a clear truth. Clare will have to face the truth about Kyle, about Summer, and about Victor's machinations. She will have to decide whether she can forgive Kyle and stand by him, or let things slip away. And whatever the final outcome, the consequences of these machinations will last forever. The Young and the Restless spoilers reveal. In a dramatic and unexpected turn of events, Kyle and Clare's relationship is on the brink of total collapse, and all the divisive elements come from not only Victor or Audra's schemes, but also Kyle's ex, Summer. As love, betrayal, and important decisions intertwine, a tense and tearful battle awaits them. Summer and Kyle, a past relationship lurks in the shadows. Kyle and Summer were once a happy couple, but now, their feelings have become more complicated than ever. Summer, despite breaking up with Kyle, still can't let him go, and her old feelings for him still smolder inside. This is not only a flashback to the past, but also a threat that is silently threatening Kyle and Clare's current relationship. In a moment of weakness, Kyle may fall into temptation and find it almost impossible to refuse Summer, leading to a dangerous encounter. Not only will he have to deal with mixed feelings, but he will also have to make decisions that could hurt Clare deeply. However, Kyle sleeping with Summer will not be a simple personal mistake. This will be a strong shock to Clare, who is slowly realizing that there is a conspiracy going on around their relationship. Clare is not someone who is easily fooled, and she has begun to see the truth of what is happening. She realizes that Audra may not be the one to drive a wedge between her and Kyle as she thought, but Summer, her old friend, who may be the one to deal the final blow to end their relationship. Victor and forgiveness. Clare is faced with a difficult choice. Clare and Victor's relationship has always been complicated. Clare, despite her close relationship with her grandfather, cannot forgive Victor for his past cruel actions. But when her relationship with Kyle is on the verge of collapse, Clare is once again faced with a difficult choice. She may want to give Victor another chance, to prove that her grandfather can change, but is that a mistake? Kyle, on the other hand, cannot bear the thought of Clare forgiving Victor. He does not understand why Clare continues to keep in touch with the man who has caused so much trouble for their family. Kyle feels that if Clare truly forgives Victor, it may be the end of their relationship. Kyle's anger is growing, and this may lead to a big fight between him and Clare. Clare wants to believe in Victor's change, but Kyle cannot do so. He feels betrayed by the woman he loves, the woman he believes should be on his side instead of continuing to protect Victor. The disagreement between the two makes their relationship even more tense, and this is the opportunity for Summer to enter Kyle's life again. Summer and the final plot. Summer is not someone who gives up easily. She still has deep feelings for Kyle, despite having gone through many heartbreaks because of their previous relationship. Even though she knows that Kyle has chosen Clare, Summer still cannot forget the sweet moments in the past. And as time goes by, she becomes more and more determined to break the relationship between Kyle and Clare. Summer sees this as her chance, an opportunity she cannot pass up. She not only wants to win Kyle back, but also wants to make Clare pay for taking him. Summer's feelings for Kyle are not just simple love, but a thirst for revenge. Summer sees clearly that if Clare and Kyle cannot overcome this division, she will be the one to appear and deal the final blow to their relationship. From there, Summer will take advantage of Kyle's weaknesses, using old feelings to create an irreparable rift between him and Clare. With her confidence and determination, Summer will not stop until she achieves her goal. The big confrontation. Could Kyle and Clare's relationship be broken? The situation becomes more and more complicated when Clare realizes that Summer may be the one causing the biggest trouble in her relationship with Kyle. She could not have imagined that Kyle's ex could destroy everything just because of jealousy and a feeling of never being satisfied. With difficult decisions ahead, Clare will have to choose between her love for Kyle and forgiveness for Victor. This conflict not only breaks up Clare and Kyle's relationship, but also makes everything more deadlocked than ever. When Summer approaches Kyle again, will she succeed in getting him back on her side? And will Clare choose to forgive Victor or protect her love for Kyle, even as things spiral out of control? Kyle and Clare's relationship is on the brink of collapse, and Summer, for all her determination and calculation, may be the final straw that brings it all crashing down. Can Kyle and Clare overcome these challenges and rebuild their relationship, or will they let it all fall apart due to intrigue and bad decisions?